Hey everyone, welcome to Camppatton Family Compound. It's time for the Friday night on the Homestead here. And tonight's topic is what new ways are you learning to cook? And how's everybody doing out there? So let me jump over here and bring up the comments so I can properly say hi to everybody. And all right, so the first one in was CR, Creative Redundancy. Then Phelan Clan Wolf, he checked in, he's lurking, which reminds me, for the number of people who got up here saying they're watching, with the way YouTube has changed the way they're doing their analytics, if you watch a live stream and you never comment, they don't count your hours. So if you're out there lurking, just be simple, just type in lurking, let me know, officially check in that you're lurking and everything's cool. And that way, YouTube will count your time. All right. And Sierra says he's wondering how many are eating and watching. And Howie, Food Forest Permaculture is here. And Texas Rob is in the house. Excuse me. Had the grandkids over for about 5 hours this afternoon. They like spending a lot of time running around on the cement driveway out there playing with chalk and stuff. So I was out there in all the wind and the dust and everything. So, all righty. And that's everybody's checking in. That's talking. All right. So tonight's topic here came about because over the last couple of weeks, and I snuck it in, I changed the schedule around, was because we've talked about on different things, gardening and growing foods you will eat, what you won't eat. And I've made some comments of the fact that I do not like Brussels sprouts. And I said why? Because my mom burnt them all the time, scorched them. It was nasty. And there are a couple of people comment different ways to cook them. One of the ones he said, you get a pan, an oven-safe pan, put it on the burner, garlic butter. Forgot the term now. Put them in there, and you I forgot the term for cooking if we're doing it on that. And then after you turn them a couple times and starting to get a little brown. Then you stick it in the oven at 350 for 20 minutes. That way, they don't scorch, they don't burn, and they get cooked thoroughly, and they're nice and tender, and they taste great. And so I kind of jotted that down. Saute, that's the word, saute. You saute them a little bit first, and then you put them in the oven. And some of you talked about other different ways of doing it, ways to cook the Brussels sprouts, the cauliflower, the cabbage, and everything else. Hey, Grammy Karen, how's it going? And so part of that is learning new ways to cook food, a food you never cooked, that you didn't do. And there's also other different ways of learning to cook food as well. Let me change the banner up here. Boom, there we go. And so I want to go over here and back to there we go. And some of the things I was looking to different ways to cook, and I've been experimenting on different ways to cook since I've been up here. And I found so you got searing, baking, barbecuing, grilling, almost the same thing, barbecuing and grilling, deep frying, pan frying, roasting, sauteing, shallow frying, stir fry, and a whole bunch more. And Howie says, pit cooking in the ground. Yeah. The Scouts, starting with Cub Scouts, do foil cooking. They'll build their little fire pit and stuff, and when the coals start, when the flames are going down, all I have is a big, massive bunch of coals there. You wrap your meat and your potatoes and everything else up in the foil, several layers. You take a shovel and you put it, scoop some of the coals down the side, put it down there near the edge and pull coals over it. And you lay them around the outside and you cook them. And, oh, that is absolutely fabulous. I forgot to get a picture of that though. So one of the things is my wife got an Instapot, and so she's for the last couple of years, 2.5 years, she's been learning all the different ways of cooking stuff in the Instapot, using the rice cooker mode, using the pressure cooker mode, and everything else. So I have yet to touch the Instapot because it's hers at the California house still, and she's actually looking for someone giving one away or getting rid of one, at a garage sale that and then sending it up here. That way I can experiment with it as well. And so that's one thing to do. And I guess the Instapot you can you got all the different settings: pressure cook, slow cook, saute, soup, broth, canning, rice. Not sure what the heck the one there is kind of on the side. I can't read it. And then yogurt. So different things you can do with the Instapot. Hey, Corky, how's it going? So, just using an Instapot gives you a whole bunch of different ways to learn to cook stuff, where you don't wind up burning it or making it nasty. So let's see here. All right, then there is, of course, the crock pot, and there's crock pots now come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes. They'll have the thermometer thing you can stab into the piece of meat there you're cooking. And Corky says she likes to make the yogurt in the Instapot. Cool. And so the crock pot I have is an old one, and basically it's high and low. And you put something in there, you put it on low if you want it to take hours, and you put it on high if you want it to take maybe 1.5 hours. And so there's a lot of different things you can do. My wife has done some roasts in the crock pot on the low setting stuff. Oh man, when that comes out, it's practically falling apart when it comes out. It's beautiful. All right, so let's see the next one here. Fryers. There's all sorts of fryers. Now the one on the far right here, that's similar to something we've had with a plug in the side and a dial on it. Back in the 60s, they had something like this, only it wasn't round, as a rectangular one. And we used to make donuts in it. We used to do French fries in it. My grandma would fry fish in it. Hang on, Courtney has a comment here. I read something the other day about how only vegetables should be made in the crock pot because people eat undercooked food. Depending on what the food is, some people say you shouldn't cook it too long. There's a group of people who say, vegetables should just be barely warm. They should be hard and crunchy. Others say they should be soft. Hey, eat it the way you like it. Exactly. You put meat in there for 8 hours, it's going to be cooked. All right. There are all sorts of different fryers, frying fish, frying chicken, making chicken fried steaks in a fryer, French fries, curly fries, frying au gratin potatoes, frying Twinkies. Yes, that is still a thing, frying Twinkies in batter and frying it. Deep fried ice cream is another one too. So there's a bunch of different type fryers and stuff you can try, experiment, look into that. If you've never fried anything, that's something to look at. Now they have the alternative to this, which is the air fryer, which, from what I understand, takes a bit more electricity. Now, these are all electric fryers. There are gas fryers. There are propane fryers. You can see the propane fryers at like county fairs and stuff. So you can fry stuff using propane, so you can do it off grid. And it's Lewis, the Marshmallow Man, and there he has it. deep fried chicken wings. Personally, I like deep fried chicken breast. Cut, thin cut breast. Oh yeah. So let's go to the next one here. And then there is deep frying in cast iron. And we used to deep fry. We used to fry up sopapillas and imitation sopapillas in the cast iron, especially at Scout Camp. Oh man, some good stuff. And a lot of people go, "You can deep fry in a Dutch oven?" Yes, you can. You can deep fry in a big cast iron skillet too. And then, of course, there's baking. Throw it in the oven, bake your chicken. Chicken fried steak baked in the oven as well. I'm going to get to something here in a second. I'm not sure if I did it. If not, I'll be coming back to this slide here again. I'm not sure if I was able to put the other one in there. Tried. Okay. If they had these steamers for my mom, I probably wouldn't hate Brussels sprouts, because she didn't use one of these steaming racks in there to cook the Brussels sprouts. She put the water in there, dumped them in on the bottom of the pan, and they would scorch every single time. Whew. But yeah, those are great. Boiling. You can boil chicken breast whole. My wife likes to take and cut up chicken breast into little cubes and stuff. When she's in a hurry, she'll cut it all up, toss it in the boiling water for a couple minutes. It cooks it really quicker, being all cut up, pulls it out, adds it to the package of the Parmesan noodle hamburger helper mix, and boom, it's done. Cob oven was the best tasting food I ever had. Best pizza, bread, fish, okay. I'm going to have to look Cob oven up here in a minute. All right. So, yeah, and, there's different ways you can, some people have been known to boil pork, been known to boil venison, been known to boil buffalo meat, bear meat. So boiling is another way to cook some things. And then, of course, there's, making a stew, which is sort of like boiling on the stovetop. Only it's not a high boil, it's a light stuff. And it's CB at Hugo Homestead. All right, let's see what else. Oh, there is a difference, people, between a grill and a griddle. This is a griddle, GRIDDEL, LE, griddle. Oh, this is a griddle. All right. And I actually learned to cook on a griddle because I've talked about this before. Hang on, let me flip here. My grandfather owned Rolly Harper Rental Equipment Catering down there in Southern California. And my mom was one of his cooks. My grandmother was one of his cooks. And they had the first, looked like a roach coach, but they'd go out and cook for the motion picture studios on location shoots back in the 50s. And that's when they started it up. And they had Wolf ovens, two big, huge Wolf ovens. One had 6 burners on it. One had a big, huge griddle on it. And I learned to cook bacon on that griddle. So, yeah, a big, thick, 1-inch thick steel griddle. Once you get that up to heat, it maintains heat like you wouldn't believe. All right, next one here. Now there is a grill where you got the little rods and the flames come up through it. Totally different way of cooking. And let's see. Now, here's something most people don't consider. Canning to cook. And some people are going to go, huh? Well, you can, and then when you go to open the jar, you open it up, you heat it back up and stuff. Yeah, you can. Most people do, but you don't have to. When you can, it's cooked. It's just like you can buy canned chili and beans, from the store. You don't have to reheat it. You can eat it cold. Chef Boyardee, SpaghettiOs, raviolis, all that stuff. You don't have to heat it up. You can eat it cold. We've done it at Scout Camp a lot. So the stuff you can buy from the store in the cans, it's been canned in metal cans, is cooked. So you don't need to cook it again. But so if you're canning your own meals, and you're making if you're canning chili or you're canning meatloaf, you don't have to heat it up and cook it again when you go to serve it. So canning to cook is another way of doing it. That way you have stuff that's already cooked, shelves full of it, and if the power's out or if construction companies down there dig up the gas line, and the hoe operator is as a rookie swings around and takes out the power pole too, so you got no gas, you got no power. Hey, you still got meals there. Yeah, it's cold, but hey, better than going hungry. Outdoor cooking, Dutch ovens. Oh, one of my favorite ways to cook. And when I left Scouts as Scoutmaster and I moved up here, I figured I was going to be cooking up here, but things just going on. Just haven't had a chance to get the Dutch ovens going up here and try new stuff in them. But we were learning how to do new things in there. And we had all our Dutch ovens are seasoned, but sometimes what you cook in there will eat away the seasoning, especially if you're doing something with tomatoes, anything acidic and stuff like that. It'll eat the seasoning off. So the way you protect the seasoning, so you don't have to re-season it, you line it and I froze. So you line it with foil, or you can buy these little foil inserts. You just drop in there, and it's great. And I tell you, it's worked good at Scout Camp. Saved a lot of time for the boys. We make them do the foil themselves, cook once that way, and then we have a bunch of inserts, they can do for the rest of the time up there. So, cast iron. Now, there's several different types of cast iron. So the one who has a lip on it, usually these will also have feet on them as well. So you can stack them. So you put a layer of coals in, you put the next one on, next size down, or the same size on top of it. And the legs keep a little space in there. And but, and so I have some that don't have it. They're just meant to hang over the fire. So there is the cast iron Dutch ovens. However, that's not the only type of Dutch ovens, cast iron Dutch ovens there are. It's not the big black ones. Hang on here. Come on. There we go. They got enamel coated ones, and they're really cool because it's enamel coated outside and inside. And you can use it in the house, and you can look all fashionable when you serve a meal up out of one of these. Or if you need to, you can use these outside on a campfire too. Who knew? I'm just catching up on the side chat here, make sure I'm not missing nothing. And let's see here. All right, so we've picked up several of these from Sam's Club when they're on sale. Generally Black Friday, or sometimes they put them on sale before Black Friday. And every now and then my wife will go over and she'll pick one up, and she'll get home and she'll, dang, I already got one. Oh, well, now I got two, or now I got three. She knows the value of these type pots, the Dutch ovens. Okay. So I know I sent out the link to several people who are in the chat. And there's the link in case anybody else up here wants to come up and talk about their ways they have preferred ways to cook things and new ways that they have tried cooking things. And so what's going on here? And let me go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and replace the pinned message with the link. So anybody wants to come over and talk about cooking. One of the things I really love doing, I didn't do it for emergency preparedness type stuff, was even as the little scout was cooking outdoors, was pit cooking. Digging a pit, getting the coals going, cooking out on the edge on it, and raking the coals over and having some rocks in there, big fire going, raking the coals over amongst the rocks and putting a big cast iron skillet on it. And Justin's in the house. And here comes Lewis. There he is. Corky's thinking about cutting up the Boston. Come on. Where'd it go? He jumped on. Where is it? There it is. There we go. Boom. Think about cutting up the Boston marrow. One of the big squashes there. Hey, Kaylin. Kaylin's in the house. All right. Cast iron pot's not a Dutch oven. Yeah. Well, interesting thing is I have one, no legs on it, has a domed lid on it, and I've used it as a Dutch oven. I've taken it on there, had some rocks in there with the coals under it, put it on that, and gently picked up some of the coals using tongs and put the bunch of coals on top. Hey, you can, it doesn't have to be a quote Dutch oven cast iron to use as a Dutch oven. My wife got from her grandmother a bunch of cast iron cookware, for on the stove, but the lids are slightly domed. And is he back? He's back. The lids are slightly domed and it has this little what's called drip beads inside of it. It's like if you look inside the dome, it's got all these little bumps all the way around in rings. So as it steams up, it causes the drip back down into the middle and not all of it run off down the edge of the pot. And a couple of the ones she has are like that, but they have just this little lip, around the outside. Froze. So if you do put coals on it, the coals don't roll all the way off. You can roll a little of coals on them. But my wife's grandmother never used it outdoors, always used it on the stove. And when we got it, my wife used it one time on the stove, and it's like, wait a minute, we can use this on the campfire. So, yeah.
Another good way to cook is smoking your food.
Yeah. Okay, hang on, I got things here. I'm reading the side chat. Okay, got to go back up here. Okay, what's Howie saying? He's talking about the marrow one. They freeze in real good small portion for the corky. We have. Okay, yeah, exactly. Yes, I've seen cast iron bake sheets. I've seen cast iron griddle sheets that are basically it's like a grill, but it's got bumps on it and stuff, so it's more like a grill. I've seen cast iron mold baking sheets. So basically, you make you got a cornbread thing that's done in like wagon wheels. So you already have your wedges of cornbread done up. I've seen where you has in shape of a corn, and you can put you can bake cornbread so it comes out looking like corn. But those I've also seen people at Scout Camp do those with corn. They'll put some butter in that, put the corn in it, and cook it in there and rotate it. And I guess, almost like fry up the corn on the cob. But with the amount of butter in there, oh yeah, it comes out pretty good. Cooking over an open fire is it can be a little bit of work, but if you got a couple people out there, you're working together, and especially if you're learning with someone who's already done it and knows how to do it, like I believe Cosmic Cultivators, Corky, they, check with. I'm pretty sure they know how to cook outdoors, and working with someone that's teaching you that, it becomes a really fun experience. Probably the easiest thing for someone cooking outdoors for the first time. Well, a lot of times what the scouts will do is they'll line their Dutch oven, and they'll just use, put cans of chili in there, or they'll put something like that in there and cook it. One of the other things that they do is they get you can get a bunt pan that'll fit inside of a Dutch oven, and you put like a trivet underneath the bottom, or a wire cake rack that lifts it up just a little bit so you don't burn the bottom, and you can make monkey bread in it. Hey, Denier, how's it going? So there's a lot of things you can do when it comes to cooking outdoors, different ways of doing it. Yes, I've seen those too. We've actually taken the back in the day, the old waffle irons had cast iron griddle thing in it. So it was the waffle iron on one side, and it was smooth on the other side for doing pancakes. Well, when they died, instead of throwing everything out, we pulled out those plates and kept them for camping. Yeah, I definitely agree. And Dustin's making a joke there. Let's see. All right. Finding your own cast iron. It's going to sound a little morbid, but this is one of the best ways to do it. Estate sales. Especially if say it's, all right, the grandparents passed away, and this generation passed away, this generation is gone, and so you got the yuppie kids selling everything off. They see cast iron, and they're like, oh, sometimes you get, they'll pay you to take it to get rid of it, not realizing what they got. But I've gotten some really good stuff on Amazon for Howie. What was that pit called? Cob pit or something like that? I think that was it. COB pit. Or cob oven. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So there's your that's what I thought it was. Your cob ovens are your those. Yeah, those things. If you can have a time to build one, yeah, those things can be amazing things. Yeah.
Yeah, cast iron.
Oh, yeah, cast iron cauldron. Yes, I got a cast iron cauldron right here. And he heats the cob bench. Okay. Let's see. We had a Tonka toaster. We had Tonka toaster. Ours were round. They're also. Okay. Now, one of the things I have not learned to do, and I've looked at it. Hang on, let me pull it up here. Not sure this was going to come up. I've had it up here before. Let's see. Come on. Not the ones I'm looking at, but they do have some of these here. They have the big pots and stuff, the Cajun ones, but not the pots I was looking for. I was looking for the cast. Let me see if I can find the cast iron one here. Because the cast iron one was absolutely great looking, and I had it in my wish list until the seller discontinued it. It's been somebody else picked up selling it. See if it has it on here. Okay, here we go. Here we go. They got it back. All right, so 5-gallon cast iron jambalaya kettle. I've always wanted to have one of these things. So, yeah, always wanted to get one of these just to cook stuff in it. Let's see. Yeah, they actually, I'm in California, San Francisco Bay Area. There's a company there that makes a crate thing, and they bring it out fresh. It's it's got a pig in it. It's got all the wood stuff. Basically, they take it out, you set it on the ground, and you light it up, and it cooks the pig there like a pit. You can dig a pit, set it in, or you can just do it above. Personally, I'd dig the pit. Yeah, the black cast iron is popular with solar ovens. Let's see here. What else we got here? All the different types of, chicken fryers and stuff like that. All the different, the roasters, cast iron roasters. I got one of those. But let me see if I can find it.
I forget what it is, but Courtney's got it. It's like a barbecue thing, a cast iron barbecue.
Okay, hang on here. Bayou Classic. I think it's a 20-inch, or is it a 24-inch? 20-inch. Got this. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh wow, that's for the longest time it was bouncing between $70 and $75. Sometimes it go above, but always come back down. Now it's 120. One of those, and then I got two of the 17-inch. And the 17-inch, what I'll do with those, I'll flip the one right up over on top of the other, make it like a Dutch oven. Oh, the Kickstart. Yes, she got the Kickstart. It's made by Lodge, and she got it from one of her people. And it's awesome. But yeah. Yeah, this big 20-inch Bayou Classic, I've taken that. It's 3 inches deep, and I've taken it to, I don't know how many scout camp trips and stuff. And on some of them, we've taken it, and it's been for the adults only. And on certain nights where the scouts go do one thing, and the adults are all left to camp alone. Oh, gee, the ice chest comes open, and we got steaks in there, and lobsters and stuff, and they do it all up in my 20-incher. So yeah, there's a lot of good ones out there. And so, yeah, you want cast iron. There's plenty of cast iron out and about. You want cast iron Dutch ovens. Ooh, Dutch ovens by capacity. 1 quart, 2 to 3, 10 quarts and above. Yes, let's go for the big ones. 13 quarts, that's still a small one for me. 20 quart, I got a couple 20 quart ones. I got a couple 12 quart ones. And yeah.
Where do you, is this like on the internet or something, Gil? Because I can't.
This is Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to get me a nice big 20 quart one.
Yeah. So the 20 quart preseason one is $181. So basically, it's a 5-gallon Dutch oven. And that's when you're making a big thing for a lot of people. But most of the time I use the 12 quart or the 10 quart one. Yeah, there are some really nice ones out here. Some of these aren't showing the legs. Some have the legs on them. I said, they got all the enamel ones as well, and they're getting more and more of the enamel ones in different shapes and stuff. I've actually seen enamel ones as a roaster, so that's good too. Cast iron vanilla pan would be killer. Let's see if I can. Will let me do that? No, it won't let me highlight that. Let me try looking it up this way here. See what we got here. Cast iron P A E. Boom! There we go. All right, that's what they're showing here. I searched for that. Yeah, they got and they have some of these cast iron skillets and stuff. I've seen them get up 18 inches or so, and they're only like an inch and a quarter deep. So, but there are a lot of different ways that I'm watching. Broussard's Homestead. Miss Lippy is always doing cooking stuff. Mama Z does a lot of cooking. Had a lot of cooking stuff, and I really want to learn some of these other ways of cooking things. I'm just so friggin' busy around here right now.
Art Wildman does cooking stuff on the campfire with his cast iron.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think who else does. Was SD Mountain Man doing that for a while too?
Maybe, I think so.
And Gunslinger Outdoors. I think he just kind of cooks as a side thing, showing it off does the gear review and stuff. So, but yeah, there is a lot of different ways to cook. Definitely got to learn more about how to use the Instant Pot for myself. If you guys don't have an Instant Pot, there are several of the channels here rave about their Instant Pots and the things you can do in it. And so there's a lot of different things here to try to cook. And I got lazy and I forgot to send Tammy the link until after 9 o'clock her time. So she's probably already in bed. Like she says, if it's a late one with me or Courtney, she'll stay up to come up on it. So. NCR just walked this comment. Yeah. My wife's cooked in a wok a few times. My mom's done it. I've never cooked in a wok. I don't know. But there are some things that ways of cooking that I really want to different ways of doing the brain fart here, guys. With the water, I mean, poaching stuff and things like that would like to learn how to do it.
There's a way. There's a stone way where you make it like a stone oven with fire, and that to cook.
Yeah.
The Italians do it with their bread and pizza.
Mm-hmm. Now I've seen stuff where they have special rocks and they heat the rocks up and they get the stuff going and have the water in there and they start putting these rocks in with tongs into it with it, cooking it that way. That would be interesting. Because basically they got it's like a big wok type bowl type thing, but they put the rocks in there and it boils the water and cooks the stuff in it from the heat of the rocks. Yeah, clay cooking too. Yes. So, has anybody tried something new in the last year, a different way of cooking something from something you've heard about on one of the channels here on YouTube? They did something that showed how to cook it, and you tried it out in the last year or two. Speak up about it. Did it work? Was it good? Was it bad? What was your experience? Was it something that you're gonna have to try it several times to learn the proper way of doing it?
Yeah, I have. I'd say in the last 10 years. And it's still a work in progress. No two meals are the same way. Smoking. I got a wood stove, and I built a black box, like a metal box on top of the chimney thing there. And that's how I smoke my food. And like I said, I can, no, you don't treat your meals the same way, right? Like meatloaf. I've done meatloaf in there, and it turned out pretty good. I've done chicken wings in there. I've done other stuff in there, but it's still a work in progress.
Yeah.
Because it's not your traditional smoker, right? It's a wood stove, right? So it's a little bit of learning, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard I can't remember who it was on the Brussels sprouts, about sauteing it in garlic butter and then putting it in the oven for 350 for about 20 minutes. But someone else was talking about other vegetables. I think it was types of squash, the zucchini or the patty pan or something. Doing the same thing. You saute it for a couple minutes in the garlic butter with the olive oil and stuff, and then you pop it in a tray and put it in the oven for a little bit, and then you pull it out. You sprinkle cheese on it, stuff like that. I have not been much of a squash guy. I realized I need to find some of these ways of cooking squash and recipes and stuff, and find one that'll make me love squash. That's it. I got to find a recipe that'll froze. Yeah. So if I can find a recipe that make me love it, then I can start doing other stuff. Interesting. My daughter has been cooking squash or zucchini a little bit differently. She's been running it through the food processor and mix. I'm not sure how small she's doing it because she doesn't do it while I'm over there. She'll come over Oh, you got any more brownie mix? Yes, I'm not eating brownies anymore. Here, take a bag. Because I got like several of those big boxes that had like 5 or 6 pouches of the Ghirardelli brownie mix in it. And she'll take it home. She'll mix it up, and she mixes the zucchini in it and bakes it up. And like earlier this was it this week? Yeah, it was this week. It was on Wednesday. I went over there, and here's 2 trays that are 3/4 gone of brownies. And she goes, "Yep, the boys have been devouring it." And since there were two trays, 3/4 gone, I know that one of the boys was her overweight husband. Okay, Kaylin has a grill stove top smoker. Came with 2 containers of wood chips. Yeah, my youngest son, who's now he'll be 24 in a couple weeks. Took the old well tank, 175-gallon well tank from my parents' place, and he's cut a door in it. And he's working on doing things to it, and he's going to put shelves in it and stuff and make it into a big smoker. You know, this thing stands sitting on the ground without anything under it. Stands at 6'6". So you got a big door. I mean, it's going to be a huge smoker when he gets it going. Exactly, CR. Learning different ways of cooking stuff, not only just the ways, whether it's in a Dutch oven, whether it's on a griddle, ways of cooking, but different recipes for cooking it helps with food fatigue. Except for my oldest son. If he has log cabin syrup, he will eat pancakes and waffles every day of the week. I mean, every day of the month. And for dinner, he works the graveyard shift at Walmart, and just about every night he makes a quesadilla. And sometimes he puts, he does it with the taco meat seasoning in it. But generally, it's just a plain cheese quesadilla. And my wife has asked him, "Don't you want something different?" He goes, "No, I like this." And he's been doing it for several years now. So he's not got food fatigue for quesadillas. And then, of course, his one of his all-time favorite fast foods is the Costco frozen 4-pack plain cheese pizza. I must say, the sauce on the Costco pizza is amazing. The dough's not all that hot and everything else, but the sauce makes up for that. And that's the favorite thing he does. Cool, Kaylin. That's real cool. All righty. Let's see. I've talked about this before, over a year ago or so. When my wife and I first got married, we started doing the hamburger helper thing because they have all those flavors, and we tried some of them out. One of our favorites was the cheesy enchilada, which turns out to be one of the favorite ones of the boys. Well, at one point, she couldn't find it on sale, and this was like 8-10 years ago, and it like doubled in price for some stupid reason. It came back down again after about 9 months, but during that time frame, it's like, okay. And she experimented in the kitchen until she could copy it, and so she was making the cheesy enchilada at home. And afterwards, when it came back down and stuff, the cheese sauce packet, the instant cheesy, nasty, saucy stuff, tossed it, and she would just add the Kirkland Mexican cheese blend 4 or 5 different cheeses in it and use that instead. And oh, I tell you, that stuff's great. Yeah, CR. Hot oatmeal. Plain hot oatmeal. Why do you think there are so many flavored versions that Quaker puts out? Because hot oatmeal, after a while, gets food fatigue. And when I was growing up, we had either usually we were allowed to put 1 spoonful of sugar over the oatmeal. Until I got wise and grabbed a little Subi honey bear and put that on there. And then we had taken the one of the shilling cinnamon things, and we when it was empty, and we filled up with granulated sugar and cinnamon to make cinnamon toast. Well, that works pretty good on top of the oatmeal too. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute. The apricot trees, the apricots are in season. Slice, slice, slice. Oh, the apples are ready. Let's make like apple pie filling and sprinkle some of that in the oatmeal.
Yeah, I dehydrate my fruits and berries and that just to put in my oatmeal instead of buying the flavored stuff.
Yeah. My wife, when the last time she was here, about a month ago. Anyways, not quite, about 3 weeks ago or so. Before she left California to come back here, she went out there and just one of the aluminum pan trays and just picked a bunch of strawberries and put that in the cooler and brought it here. And she was, the boys were eating strawberries constantly, the grandkids and stuff. And they started to get a little mushy, and she goes, all right, time to do something with them. And she mushed them all up, added just a hint of sugar because, they weren't that sour, but there were a couple sour ones. So she had just a hint of sugar to it and mixed it up. And then she made her pancakes, and she used that for the topping of the pancakes. And then she did some oatmeal. She, took a couple soup spoonfuls and dumped it on her oatmeal. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can fix up your oatmeal without having to use the store-bought flavoring packs, which have some really interesting stuff in them. All right, so we're coming up here. Let me go ahead and bring the list up over here on the other side. Oh, Corky put out a video. What was I made for? Okay, guys, so Corky's Mojo put out a video during this. It popped up over here, or at least she scheduled it for during this. So I want to go check that out here in a minute. All righty, so coming up tomorrow on Survival Saturday, do I really need a rifle? That's going to be the topic. And so I'm going to try to get Wayne up here if he's not busy tomorrow evening, get him up, and maybe Dioris, and hopefully I can get Steve, Corsair Trainers, up here too. And we're going to we'll talk about, do I really need a rifle? And I'll give you a hint. My favorite rifle, all around rifle, is the 22. And it's they're both Remingtons I have. I have one that's a bolt action with a 10 shot mag. And I have the one that has takes 13 shots down the tube that goes through the stock, the nylon 66. And yeah, I got bigger ones. I got 45-70s here. I got 30-30s. But I look at it this way. If I can hunt and hit squirrels and pheasant and stuff with the 22 at 50, 100 yards out there, I can handle a marauder at 50 yards. All righty. So, okay, so Kaylin has an event tomorrow. Well, it's going to be at same time, 10 o'clock Eastern time for Survival Saturday. Monday, back here on Camppatton Family Compound, is what are your favorite games? That's for the Monday Night Fireside Chat. We're going to talk about games, your favorite games, and everything else. Tuesday, back over again to Gray Man Prepping, is food source froze. Tuesday is going to be Food Source Recon Part 2. And then back here on next Friday night on the Homestead, is how do you relax your mental health? So we're going to be talking about ways to keep from stressing out and to let it go. Let it go. No, I'm not going to break into song. And do that. Now, if anybody has any suggestions for topics, please. Get down here. There it is. Email me at Camppatton Family Compound. And that is 2 P's, 2 T's in there. And give me your suggestions for both either here and or at Gray Man Prepping. All right. And I got hit and miss here coming up for the next month here up through October 6th. Actually, I got every Friday night on the Homestead through October 6th. I got most technical Tuesdays through October 3rd already topics, but I can shift things around. And so, yeah, if you have any ideas of things you want to hear about, discuss, you want to be up here on the panel too for a topic you suggest, I'm good with that. All righty, folks. Lewis, thanks for coming up here.
I'll see you later.
Sharing about your smoker. All right. And so, everyone, experiment. Try different ways of cooking. See if you can make stuff more flavorful. See if you can find a different functional way of cooking as well, and become proficient in that. You know, a lot of people are talking about right now. It's you may want to learn how to cook over an open fire, and so do some little research on that and try that. All right. Well, I will see you hopefully tomorrow over on Gray Man Prepping. That's Gray with an A, and we'll see you on Survival Saturday. All right. Take care and stay safe.